reasons why I love you and none of them rhyme. 9 times 9, 81, Bonnie and Clyde. We got high and sat by the Wellington sign. I had one hell of a time, it's rock and roll to life.
Welcome to the Green Tea, Freedom and Truth channel. This is Tristan. It's good to have the Green Tea team back for this Friday, the 6th of November 2020 edition of the video log. A big thank you and much appreciation for everyone who has liked, shared, commented and subscribed to the channel, and for dropping the informative and uplifting comments in the comments section. We have just gone through our election time here in New Zealand, and currently the election is just finished and they're counting votes in America during this election time. And it is clear to see, for people with eyes to see, the bias and the misinformation getting pushed, dishonesty and corruption by the mainstream media, the mainstream propaganda arms of the UN global elites New World Order. And it is really a tool, a central tool of the global cult, as David Icke calls it. And why the mainstream media is failing. Why in New Zealand, as our government and in other Western countries, our government has bailed out our media companies to the tune of $125 million. It is a failing model. People are losing trust in the media. So as the trust is reduced, their viewership, their advertising revenue is dropping off because they are being dishonest and pushing their biases and agendas onto the public. And the people are waking up to this. Things do not need to be bailed out that are working well, and people are, the paradigm is shifting from this model that the propaganda arm of the government is using, and we see it so clearly. And I was listening to a clip of Mike Hosking. We're going to have a quick look at it. Mike Hosking from News Talk ZB. And you see it a little bit, a couple of journalists, Mike Hosking, some of the Sky News in Australia, they do some objective journalism where they can ask the hard questions on both sides. But then they fall into the pattern again of, following the party line, the propaganda line. Joe Biden has been getting passes through his whole campaign, scandals getting looked and pushed aside. Our Prime Minister, mistake after mistake, unaccountability, not delivering on promises, childhood poverty, unaffordable housing, all of these things, the COVID, the Response Act, the taking away rights and freedoms. The media is silent and gives them a pass.
Part of what happened in this country at election time was, of course, the media had a role. The media is biased in this country, overtly so, and sometimes embarrassingly overtly so. And as it is in America at the moment, I've got a fascinating insight into some research that got released yesterday. But there was a guy on Fox News yesterday called Tony Bobulinski. He is a former business associate of Hunter Biden. And Joe Biden's denials of knowledge or involvement in his son's foreign dealings are, to quote Bobulinski, a blatant lie.
And for those who don't know, they had a computer of Hunter Biden was found. It had information that linked Hunter Biden getting a job with the Ukrainian gas company to his father's position as vice president at the time. This happened a month or a few weeks ago, and the media has kept hush on that, protecting Joe Biden from any scrutiny over these dealings, which look fairly clear. There's clear evidence to link Hunter Biden getting the job with his father's position as vice president. And Mike Hosking here refers to an article that talks about the amount of negative coverage of the president versus the amount of negative coverage for Joe Biden.
And no one's touching this story in America, the Biden story and the computer and the emails and all of the dealings of Hunter Biden. No one's touching in mainstream America apart from Fox. And so a study was released yesterday from the Media Research Centre. They analysed every episode of NBC Nightly News, ABC's World News Tonight, CBS's Evening News from the 29th of July until the 20th of October. And it is obvious, I quote them, it is obvious that the networks are pouring their energy into confronting and criticising the president, not equally covering both campaigns. Trump received 839 minutes of coverage. 92.4% were negative. 269 total minutes of airtime were devoted to Biden. Only 34% were considered negative. There is an overt bias in the media towards Biden, as there was in this country, towards Labor. And the real news, the real stories, and this in America, the computer, the emails, is a genuine lay-down misère scandal.
And I know the Green Tea team members probably had a clear idea of this already, but that is a shocking statistic. The Donald Trump and his coverage in the 3 months leading up to the election, 7% positive media coverage. And for Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Touchy Joe Biden, 70% positive airtime. It is just blatantly bias. They push aside any scandals, anything that is paints the person they are pushing in a negative light. And we have to wake up to this. We have to share this with people so they can see sleepwalking through. And David Rockefeller, I've got a quote here and a letter he gave. We're going to have a quick look at that. These global unelites, the cult, as David Icke calls it, it is part of their plan to push forward, and this is one of their tools, their control tools, and we have to turn it off and use our own reason, gather information from sources, vetted sources that are not connected to the propaganda. A quote from David Rockefeller, international banker, part of the 0.1% of global unelites, speaking in June 1991 Bilderberg meeting in Baden, Germany. Quote, "We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other great publications whose directors have attended our meetings and respected their promises of discretion for almost 40 years, he went on to explain. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the lights of publicity during those years. Publicity, aka proper journalism. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march towards a world government, aka New World Order, UN Agenda 2030, global communism. The supranational sovereignty of an intellectual elite and world bankers is surely preferable to the national autodetermination practice in past centuries. Supranational meaning having the power or influence that transcends national boundaries or governments. Creepy. Hidden in plain sight. 1991. It's being stated. We can see that these things are happening. Our Prime Minister has said that she wants New Zealand to be the first country in the world to roll out the Sustainable Development Goals, the UN New World Order. It's right there, and this is a tool. All of this stuff is a tool for them to get to their goals. And like the Predator in the Predator movie, it lost its power. When it lost its power of invisibility, we could see what is happening. So please share this. Please share this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Have courage. Speak your truth. Support each other. Have faith and have fun. Peace out.